So, hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Prasunjaya and I'm a former student of Botany Department, St. Xavier's College from batch 2006 to 9. Currently, I'm a PhD. I'm pursuing PhD in Biomedical Sciences at Albert Einstein College of Medicine, New York. So this webinar, Career Opportunities for Botany Graduate, is actually a great opportunity, especially for undergraduate and postgraduate students to listen to an alumni and listen and heard about how and why they choose their career and what they did to achieve their goals. So I will highly encourage you all to keep attending these webinars every week to learn and interact with them. So before introducing my speaker, I just want to mention everyone, like if you have any questions or clarification, please feel free to type in the chat box. And also if you want to ask any question, you have a raise your hand icon. So you can also click on that so that I can call on you at the end of each presentation. So our first speaker, so it's my great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Commander Dr. Akhori Atul Prakash. So Commander Dr. Akhori Atul Prakash is an alumnus of St. Xavier's College and Academy, Goa. He completed his electrical engineering from Naval College of Engineering, Lonavala. Thereafter, he completed his MTech in microelectronics and PhD in cyber warfare from IIT Bombay. He also holds an MBA degree. He is a war veteran of Kargil War held in 1999, and the officer was in the front. After completion of 21 years of glorious naval service, where he was an expert in nuclear, chemical, biological warfare, the officer took premature retirement and started pursuing his hobbies and other careers. So he has been an adventurous man and has represented India in 3 sports, which is surfing, water skiing, and enterprise class sailing. He conducts adventurous camps to train people for adventure, and his other hobby, including farming, and to be very precise, Vedic farming, in which he is the pioneer in Jharkhand, and he learned the whole process of Vedic farming with his own experience and experimentation after reading Vedic books. So today we will learn about Vedic farming from himself. Over to you, sir. I'll just stop sharing so that you can share. Yes.
So Simran Gupta finally joined.
Yes, we can see your screen, sir. Oh, yeah. Great, sir.
Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity for coming up. Am I audible to everybody? If not, please let me know. Okay.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity, and ma'am, to you also for speaking so kind words for me. It is great indeed an opportunity for me to speak in front of such an august gathering, who is already, many of you are in from botany background. Though I don't belong to this background too much, but still people have, sir has told me to come up and speak what I can do and what I have done. So let's start with that. Before I start my complete presentation, I wanted to tell you what you can expect in my presentation, what you should be thinking at the end of the presentation. First and foremost, if at all you have got a seed for farming, it will certainly motivate you towards farming. The methods of farming which is already existing, you can choose what you should go about and how you should go about. the power that lies in each and every individual. If a person of my background who doesn't know farming, who has not studied botany much, and from a different background altogether, from electronics and electrical engineering side, still if I can come and do something, I expect you all who are much younger to me and much qualified can do much better than what I have achieved. And last but not the least, you can do things in farming with great results. That is what I can assure you at the end of this presentation. I wanted to start my story with 23rd of June 2018. The place is Thailand, and there was a great story running there that 13 boys, young boys of a football team went missing into a cave. It took almost 2 weeks for the international people to find them, locate them, and bring them out. The greatest part of this was they didn't have food, they didn't have any source of light other than the torches that they were carrying. Without any much equipment, they were tied inside a cave, airlocked, without any light source, without any time source, and without any power source for 18 days. Now, when they came out after some 2 weeks, the story unveiled that the coach of the football team was an ex Buddhist monk who taught his people and the students of 13 years or 12 years, 14 years of age, how to reduce their oxygen intake because the amount of oxygen inside that cave was very limited. Secondly, without any power source or without any food, they survived for good 13 days inside there. Generally, it is said that after 6 to 8 days, nobody can survive without food, but still they survived. What we get out of this story is two ways. First and foremost, the ancient way of doing things are totally different and it can defy the modern science. Keeping without food for 13 days, 10 days, it was a difficult proposition altogether, but still people did it. So it was first take for me. Second take is whatever may be the difficulty in conditions and scenario, if you continue and if you don't give up, you can prevail. After 2 weeks, all the 13 people were out of the cave, hale and hearty and alive. So with my Vedic farming, I come up with these two things, and this is my basis of thinking. Why I joined this Vedic farming is because I had a passion for farming since my childhood, though I never tried it. I didn't get an opportunity to do it. After leaving my service, I had to do something and I wanted to do something different, which entails me and which was passion for me. So I took up Vedic farming and didn't go for normal farming with fertilizers. Third is to learn in due course and teach the farmers who are getting into the trap of fertilizers and other pesticides where they harm the land and their pocket also. Now the first question will arrive from here is, what is Vedic farming? The Vedic farming, if you see, there are three ways of farming, out of which Vedic farming is there, which I'll come in due course. The land where I started my farming was such kind of land where I started to step my foot, which was appearing a difficult task for me to do it. Without this land was a barren land for quite some time. People had already suggested that nothing can be grown in this place. This is the initial few photographs where I started my farming, and if you can see, the tractors are running and few ladies are there with the cow dung. The first thing is, if you get into any sort of farming, and especially into a new system, you have to remain there and you have to prepare yourself to take the initial shocks. Initial shock can be of two ways. First and foremost is public criticism, where people will tell you, after reading so much things, इतना पढ़ने के बाद यही करना है, इतनी मेहनत करने की क्या जरूरत है, ये करने का क्या फायदा होगा, कुछ नहीं मिलता, अगर इतना ही मिलता तो किसान कहाँ जाता. All such kind of things will be there on your platter, which you have to live with till the time you prove yourself. There will be many people, many ways of many relatives, many friends who will come and criticize you for all these things. The next thing which will come is the failures in attempt, because you will be doing something new and something different, which in my case I had never tried before. I didn't have any proper guidance, even though I had been to few places which are of repute and they state that they can guide people. But in Jharkhand and Ranchi, I have not met a single place or any institution who can tell me on ground what is to be done. Everybody talks about things which are available on Google or on YouTube, but let me be very frank and candid about it. It just works on Google and YouTube. They don't work on ground. Everybody has to learn his ropes, and that is how he can climb up. So the basic thing is, you have to be ready for the public criticism and failure in attempts till the time you set up your agenda and fix your goal and achieve it in due course of time. This is the way I started my basic Vedic farming initially. What I had shown you the picture initially with cow dung and all, thereafter I went for this flood irrigation farming, which I was told that this is the way it works. It cannot be done in any other way. So these are the pictures that initially I started with. You can see on the left hand side, I have planted peas. And one more thing is there, you have to experiment with crops, what kind of crops you can get and how, which will be fruitful for you, both time wise, labor wise, and economically, which can be sold in the market. Anything can be grown, but or viable for you to do farming. You have to be prepared for shocks. What shocks? There are nobody to guide you. That is the basic problem that you will face. Many of the people, even as a student of botany, you might have realized that there are so many things, everything you can read on book, but nobody tells you what to do on ground. The path is long and treacherous. Without any doubt, you have to work very hard and to achieve the goal that you have set. In my case, I used to be on the field at 6 o'clock in the morning with my water and breakfast and lunch. And I used to come back at 6 o'clock. This was my routine for almost 6 months. And after 6 months, still there were many shocks and I was not getting the results what I was expecting. Because the day you put your seed, it takes 3 months to 4 months time, you get your first yield. The experiments that you do, the type of menu that you use, the type of ways that you use, the results will be visible only and only after 3 months. So in 6 months time, you get only two crops. In two crops, you will not be able to fathom what went wrong, how to go about and do something new, because you have to select the type of crop, you have to select the type method that you are using, you have to use the timing. If the water has gone bad, or the manure was it not in time, if the sunshine was not proper, all these things starts coming into play. So there are many experiments which you have to do till that time you start achieving your goal. After my normal flood irrigation, I shifted to this drip irrigation. Drip irrigation started solving my two problems. First and foremost, the biggest problem was water, and the second problem was labor, because labor costs too much, and the arrangement of labor in these days, when government is feeding free food to them, it is difficult to find labor out here. So you cannot work in the big field yourself. So it is better it was better for me to shift towards drip irrigation, and that is how I shifted after almost 6 to 8 months. These are few photographs of my drip irrigation system which I had established. Now coming to these basic thing, since I have been giving lecture on Vedic farming, so you'll ask what is Vedic farming. So there are three stages of farming, or three types of farming rather. One is the general fertilized based farming, which everybody is aware and they know what to do. You use urea, you use whatever pesticides are there. Thereafter comes organic farming, where people teach about farming, that you use manure, you use all the dry Vedic farming, in which most of the parts of organic farming is taken. There are no fertilizer used, nothing of any sort of pesticide is used. But the basic part in basic thing in Vedic farming is you have to rely on God, and the offering is to the God. If I generalize it in a general term, if you go to a restaurant to have your meal, it is something like your fertilizer based farming, where in restaurant things are good, looks good, it might taste you good at that particular time, but it is not good for your health. Same thing happens with your fertilizer farming. Things yield is good. The things are they say that the output is great, but at the end it is not good for the consumer. No, it is not good for the land as well, because after every 2 years you have to scrape off at least 1 feet of your land, so that the microorganism which is supposed to be there in the land may survive, or the new microorganism which is lying below 1 feet of land comes up. Now comes your organic farming. In organic farming, you do everything as per manure and cow dung. Now what happens is, in this microorganism and things, land is sustained, everything is good. It is something like daily home cooked food, where you can eat and enjoy the food on a daily scene. It is good for your health, good for the system also. Thereafter comes is Vedic farming. Now what happens in Vedic farming is, it is something like offering to God. That is something like a prasad which we make for food, for God. Generally these prasad is not tasted. If you can recollect your background, any offering made to God is not tested or tasted till the time it is offered to God. Thereafter it is distributed amongst people to enjoy the prasad. But in my memory, I have not seen any prasad which fails in taste. It always tastes better than the daily cooked food, even though it might have been cooked by the same person, mother, sister, or anybody. But the same food, the same halwa, same kada prasad, or same tekwa, or anything of that sort, you cannot make it again, even if you are using the same ingredients on any particular day. And that too, it is only after offering to the God you are testing it and tasting it, both ways. So that is what is Vedic farming. If I go with the ancient text, which says that food has to be taken only twice a day, not even thrice a day. So it comes very naturally that if supplements, how about your energy level? The answer lies here in Vedic farming. Generally, if you take food in general fertilized based farming, the quantity of food that you use, let's say if we take 100 grams, for example, total percentage that you get out of an organic farming, this energy reaches up to 10 to 15%, whereas in Vedic percent to 50%. So what happens is, even if you are eating the same quantity of food, the energy required by the body is much higher. Now the other question will be, sir, how did you check it? Have you got any authentic scientific proof? No, I don't have, because I have not been to any science lab. But I can tell you with my experience, and after using the products of organic and Vedic method both, I have come to know that the moment you eat your Vedic product, they are much delicious and much better, and the appetite for next food or the hunger for next requirement is very less, and you can work with more energy and for longer durations. So now what happens? Where did this Vedic farming start from, and what are we talking about? The Vedic farming is generally written in by our Maharshis. The basic book is Krishi Parashar, which is authored by Maharshi Parashar. They have got 243 verses in that. All are in Sanskrit. It was much difficult for me to decipher it. Only partially I was able to decipher, and whatever was there, I have taken few parts of it, and I have continued, and I have tried to better it or do whatever possible in that capacity it was. Coming to the basic, what happens is how we are different in organic farming is, first and foremost, when we receive the seeds. Generally what happens is we sow the seeds. Here in this case, instead of sowing the seeds, we offer the god sun, because only sun, earth, and water, these basic three essential things are there, which can give you more than one seed, or which can actually produce or replicate one seed to another seed. There is no other method by which you can do it. So this is the same thing. So that is why we are offering prayer to sun, earth, and water, saying that we have offered you this to you. Now you have to bless this and give us the returns. And thereafter, you surrender yourself to all these three almighty powers. And thereafter, they start working for you. Now, what happens is, in this condition, generally the fields which are near to you or adjacent to your farm, they use, most of the time they are using pesticides and other things, other problems. They fly towards your field, and that is how they infest your cow urine, neem leaf, and other local available leaves. I don't know the name. We call it agban ka patta. I don't know what you call there. We use all these things to spray our product to keep out of pesticides, and I'm very sure it works, and it has worked for me. There are many people who have tried about this Vedic farming. You can see it on Google, you can see it on YouTube, and they have written their experiences. But to be very frank, none of the experiences have completely worked for me. It is only hit and trial method by which we have finally come to this condition. You have to steer your way, keeping the lighthouse, that is the Vedic books, inside. And finally, if you don't leave and if you don't lose hope, you will certainly triumph. This is the produce that I have been able to gather. This is the watermelon, which is with Vedic farming. I have been able to get the weight of this watermelon is somewhere around 6 kgs, which you can see. People may be convinced about it. I've been able to sell 132 tons of watermelon this season in within 5 acres of land. So the yields are also good, and the taste, which I have not been able to, I might not be able to send it to everybody, but those who have tested it and tasted it, they have said in past so many years, they have never been able to get such a sweet watermelon or any other product which has come out of my field. I'm done with it. Anybody who is interested may ask any question. Whatever possible, I will try to reply.
Thank you so much, sir, it's nice to hear about a new method of farming. So if anybody has question, they can go for it. So I have one question, sir. So
Yeah, please, ma'am.
so how different like methodology from traditional farming in this Vedic farming is? Like the methods, like for example, in traditional farming, we use some scientific method. For example, I don't know what to say, but it's like what resources you use in this Vedic farming. Is it different from traditional farming? Apart from
Traditional farming, there are two traditional farming. If you talk about organic, that is different. If you talk about fertilizer based, it's different, because we are not using a single fertilizer or pesticide in this. That is first and foremost. So fertilizer comparison with fertilizer farming at all doesn't exist at all. Now coming to organic farming, there are methods in organic farming where you are using cow dung and general methods for using. The basic is the cow dung. They don't cow dung and the cow dung. What do you say? Degraded, sir. What do you say? Degraded, sir. On degraded vegetables and leaves. However, we are not using degraded vegetables and leaf. We are using cow dung. We are using cow urine also for using at various places. But it has to be used. Cow urine has to be used after certain time. If you use it when the sapling is very young, it kills the sapling immediately. And the amount of cow urine which has to be used, I have not measured it, how much is to be used. It has come with experience, what is to be used and how it is to be used. So we use cow urine for roots also, as well as to spray it also for keeping the pests away.
And from where, sir, you get this idea of Vedic farming? Like, how did it come to your mind? It's a very new thing.
I told you, ma'am. Yeah, nothing new about it, ma'am. I told you that after leaving service, it was a passion for me to get back to farming, and I was interested in to read the Vedic books. So there I got this knowledge that it can be done on this particular method. So I have started with that, tried experimenting it. I didn't have anything to lose. There were vast field to open for me to gain only.
Yeah.
So for that method, that is why I started with this.
That's nice. Okay.
And to tell you, my laborers who were working in my field, in first 3 months or to 6 months, they used to laugh at me. They used to say, "Sir, कभी होगा ही नहीं, आप जो कर रहा है बेवकूफ है, आप पैसा बर्बाद कर रहा है इधर पे." So I used to come up and say कि पैसा मेरा, मेहनत मेरी, समय मेरा, तेरे को पैसा मिल रहा है, तुम काम करो केवल. But now after almost 2.5 years, 2 years almost, first seed I saw was in October 2018. After almost 2 years, when the yield was good and great, his compliment was कि सर मेरे घर के बच्चे लोग यहाँ से
Mishra ji, यहाँ से
There is some kind of disruption at the moment. Yeah.
It's freezed for me as well.
Can you?
Sir, are you there?
Yeah, there are.
I think.
Ms. Prasunja, there are some questions in the chat box.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think I'm not sure if he's still there, because his screen was freezed, and now I think I don't know. Is he here? We should wait for a minute, and I don't know. Sir, are you here? No. Okay. Yeah, he's here. He's here. Sir, you have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, I got disconnected, please.
Yeah, that. Sir, we have few questions in the chat box as well from Simran Gupta. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful talk. I would like to know what are the specificities you look for in the soil you use in Vedic farming?
Specificity is first and foremost, the soil should not have been used for long or otherwise with pesticides, because the first few feet or first few inches, 6 to 8 inches, if the microorganism or the worms have died, it is difficult to revive them immediately. It will take some time for them to revive, but certainly in 6 months time it revives if you are using the methods that I have used, and the cow dung and the things are being used in that way.